When you're out scouting your fields in the middle of the summer, chances are you're going to see some yellow here and there. You might see a little purple here and there. You're going to see some leaves, maybe even with striping, and you say, what in the world is that? And you know what? Unfortunately, even as a very trained agronomist with lots of years of experience, I can't always determine exactly what that is. So today we want to talk a little about identifying nutrient deficiencies and how to solve those nutrient deficiencies this year and in the future.
Okay, there's one big key that you need to understand. There's really two classes of nutrients. There's nutrients that are mobile within the plant, or there's immobile nutrients. They're building blocks. They're ones that absolutely stay put. So we've got mobile nutrients and non-mobile nutrients. Now, when we look at the mobile nutrients, we're looking at things like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So which ones do you think are the non-mobile? Well, it's micronutrients and secondary nutrients, of course. That's going to show up at the top of the plant because as they're put into the lower leaves, they're going to stay put. So just start with that little piece of information in mind. If you're seeing leaves that don't look quite right towards the top of the plant, hey, this is a non-mobile nutrient. Or if it's at the bottom of the plant, chances are it's NP or K.
All right, and before we go any further talking about nutrient deficiencies, we could be dealing with something else. We could be dealing with a herbicide carryover issue, a compaction issue. Just the fact that, hey, we haven't had any sunlight because it's been raining for a week, so my crop looks a little pale. I mean, there are a lot of other factors here, so don't always assume it's a nutrient issue. Yes, most of the time it probably is, but this is one of the reasons why we really encourage you to do some plant tissue analysis. And especially if you see a few plants in the field that look really bad and a few plants that look fantastic, send both of them in separately. Find out why the bad plants are looking the way they are when you compare them against the good-looking plants.
We developed a helpful tool called the Ag PhD Nutrient Deficiency app. You can certainly find that for your smartphone or your tablet. If you'd like to have a reference for various crops to see, okay, what do certain nutrient deficiencies look like? Maybe I can find something that at least gets me headed down the right path that, hey, this looks like my corn leaf, or this looks like my plants in my alfalfa field look. But again, if you don't know for sure, send in a sample for plant tissue analysis and see if it is a nutrient deficiency that's short, or work with your local university or extension agent to find out.
All right, so if the lower leaves are purple, usually we're talking phosphorus. If the lower leaves are yellow, it's either nitrogen or potassium deficiency if it's a nutrient deficiency. And with the yellowing for nitrogen, it's going to start at the tip of the leaf and work its way down the midrib, down the center of the leaf. With potassium deficiency, you'll see yellowing on the leaf margins of the lower leaves, so that's a real big difference. In terms of how we're going to fix this, yes, for this year you could do some side dressing, you could do some foliar feeding, but please understand, once you've seen a nutrient deficiency, you've already lost a whole bunch of yield. You're too late to fix that. What we usually will do is, yeah, we might try to address it a little bit this year, but more than anything, we're going to go into next year saying, hey, I was short on potassium, my plants looked horrible this year. I'm going to make sure that I test my soil good, and I'm going to get my potassium levels up to where they need to be so it doesn't happen to me again. Well, once again, nutrient deficiencies are a terrible problem all around the world. Our best suggestion for you is get out in your fields and scout them, and then in addition, do soil testing and do plant tissue testing on a regular basis, and you can solve these issues on your farm both this year and especially going forward.
When you're out in your field, make sure you're scouting for weeds like our Weed of the Week. We'll show you how to stop it coming up next.